All right, so today I'm going to show you how to make a stockinette stitch bow, and you can attach it to an alligator clip so it can be worn on clothing or as a hair accessory. And you're going to make it out of just a strip of knit fabric. So if you would like to make this bow, I have the pattern linked below. Okay, let's get started. So what you're going to do to get started with this pattern is get your yarn, and you are just going to cast on 90 stitches. So I'm going to cast on just a few stitches because I want to show you how to do the decrease rows. So let me cast on a few stitches here, and I'm using the long tail cast on method. Now this method will make a knit row, so it does turn into a knit row, and that's important to note for this pattern because it is a stockinette bow. So that means you're going to knit one row, purl one row, because you're knitting the front of the work, purling the back so that you get the knits on the front. So if I were to use the long tail cast on method and then go straight into knitting a row, I'm going to end up with the purl bumps on the front. So I don't want to do that. Okay, so after you're done casting on your 90 stitches, you just jump right into the purl row. However, because I want to get this clean selvage edge right here on each side of my ribbon, I'm going to knit the first stitch of every row, the first and last stitch. So I'm going to knit the first stitch, and then you're going to purl across that first row. So you have 90 stitches to do that with. I cast on a little less so that you don't have to watch me for so long. This is even too long. Maybe you could speed it up on your side. I'm not good at editing videos. I'm not gonna probably figure that one out today. So, all right, then when you get to the last stitch, again, you're just gonna knit it. So every knit row, so every right side row is going to be a decrease row. And what you're going to end up with are the tails of your bow. So this will be your bow. These are the tails. So on the right side of your work, we are going to do a slip one, knit one, pass, slip stitch over. That's going to give you this nice decrease. Then on the left side of your work, to get a right leaning decrease or a right leaning slant, you're going to do a knit two together and then that knit one at the end of the row. Okay, so we are on a knit row. We know the first stitch to make the selvage edge is a knit, and now we're going to do our decrease. So that is going to be slip one, knit one, and then pass the slip stitch over. And you can see it's going to give you a decrease. Okay, so now you're just going to knit all the way across until you get to 3 stitches. And then you're going to knit those 3 together. Okay, almost there. Okay, I'm sorry, you're going to knit 2 together. So I've got 3 stitches left. I'm going to knit 2 together. And then again, I'm going to knit the last stitch because I want to have that clean edge. Okay, now we're on the wrong side of the work, on the purl side. But again, I'm going to knit the first stitch. Oops. And then I'm going to purl across. And since we're on the purl side, on the wrong side, we're not decreasing anything this time. Okay, so purl all the way across till you get to the last stitch. Then you're going to knit the last stitch. So that's essentially the pattern that you're going to work with. So let's do another row. We're going to knit the first stitch, slip one, knit one, pass slip stitch over, and then we're going to knit all the way to the last 3 stitches. Okay, there we go. 3 stitches. We're going to knit 2 together. And then we're going to knit the last stitch. So you can see it's starting to lean in. And this side is starting to lean in also. So then you are going to turn it around again. You're going to knit the first stitch and purl all the way across to the last stitch. So that is the pattern for the bow. Now the pattern calls for casting on 90 stitches. However, if you would like to have a longer, maybe longer ribbon tails, you just cast on more. It doesn't really matter how many you cast on. It's just gonna, create different looks depending on how long you make it. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you how to fold the strip of fabric that you knitted into the bow. So what you're gonna do, I'm gonna zoom in a little. Okay. You're going to line up the ribbon tails basically to make that triangle. And then you're just gonna pull the top of the bow down. So you're just making the bow shape. So you can play with this until you get it the shape that you like. I think that looks pretty good. So all you do after that is pull the ribbon tails up in a straight line, like that. So you want to make sure that the center of the bow is where the ribbon tails are going to meet. Okay. Now, all you have to do is take a scrap piece of yarn, which I have right here, and you're going to tie it around the bow to make the shape. So you're going to go under one side, under the other side. And then all you have to do is tie it in a loop here, and it's going to cinch it into the start of your bow. So now you have that. And then you're going to take one strand and come straight down with it so it's at the bottom. The other strand is at the top. You're going to wrap it over once, and then you're going to flip the bow over. And then you're just going to wrap it again and tie. And here's where you can play with it a little. Let's say that it ended up too far on one side. You can just scoot it around. Okay. So I kind of like how that looks actually. So I'm just going to tie a knot. I like to use the surgeon's knot, so I wrap it around again, and then I tie the knot. All right, so now you can shape the tails how you like. Actually, I think they need to go. Sometimes you'll find they fall better one way versus the other. Okay, so now you want to finish it off. You could do that a couple ways. You can take an I-cord and just flip it over. I have it already attached to the tapestry needle because there is no threading a tapestry needle while you're recording. It just doesn't work. And then you would just cinch it, get it tight, and then you can just start sewing it together. And then, so that's one way you could get, oh, of course it's not going to work on camera. So anyway, this is just an example, but let's say we sewed it. That's what it's going to look like, okay? But because I don't have a lot of patience for assembling things, another way you can finish the bow that's a little more simple is just taking these extra strands. And you're just going to take one and wrap it one way. Make sure you're going around the center. And then take the other one, wrap it around the center the other way. And then you're going to tie them. And at this point, you could even put the alligator clip in, or you can wait till you're done. Other things I can't do on camera, tie little knots. Okay, so say we have that, and then if we want to attach it to a clip, you just wiggle it under there. Obviously you need to cut these strands off. Okay. Okay, so now we have the bow. Sorry, the bow. I'm good with paying attention to the camera. Something else you can do here though, that could be really helpful if you don't like the way the tails are laying, is you can take just some scrap yarn, come in through the bottom of one of the sides, and you're gonna just go about right there, so around this outer stitch. And then you can, and again, out of the camera, just weave it. Actually, you know what? Let me show you this way. It'll be a little easier. Just bring the two together and pinch it. So let's say you want it to stay together here. And then just kind of stitch a little there. And we can weave these in at the end. I mean, you don't probably need much here. So there's that. Okay. And then just push it back to the back to get your tail back there. And then you would want to weave that tail back there too, but we'll hide it for now. But then that way it'll stay together and maybe it hangs a little bit better. But honestly, if you're putting this on a kid's head, like I'm putting it on my 2-year-old daughter, it doesn't really matter because it's going to drape around their head. It actually looks really cute either way. So that is how to make the perfect knit bow. Feel free to leave any comments below or contact me at handmade.andrealeto@gmail.com. Thank you so much for watching.